One of the rare opportunities I get to interview a true legend, a person who has scaled great heights. Rajat Gupta is the first Indian or Indian American CEO of a great company called McKinsey Consulting. Rajat, it's truly a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
You belong to a strong and one of the best alumni, IIT alumni, but you also have played the major role with McKinsey. When government, especially the US government, is saying that, in an open global marketplace where we should be competing at par, there are apprehensions in some quarters that we're actually closing those things by stopping skilled immigrants either not staying or not coming to this country, where in fact we know the contributions of immigrants, regardless of whether Indians or not. I wanted your take on that.
Well, I think America has been a world leader in terms of leading by example on free trade and opening up its borders. It's been a nation of immigrants. So I think the United States needs to keep that position, lead by example. And even though the economy right now in the U.S. is in a recession and in a very difficult situation, both in terms of unemployment as well as consumer spending and so on, but yet this is the moment where we should reaffirm free trade and our principles that we stand for, and I would hope that U.S. would rise to that challenge to do that.
You have been instrumental in the Pan-IIT movement. When we talk about IIT alumni, obviously your name crops up amongst the top 5 individuals, I guess. Can you elaborate a bit about why you thought this movement would be important?
Well, I think IITs, while they have a common joint entrance exam, after that are pretty much autonomous in many ways, and the IIT alumni associations also came up pretty much autonomous. However, there is no question that there is power in the brand, and if brought together, it would be even more powerful. And collectively, we can do a lot more than we could do individually. In a global scale of things, each IIT is not a very large institution, but collectively we are. So the idea was born in actually my conference room in the Stanford office, where 25, 30 of us got together and we said, why don't we actually all work together and create a organization or a community called Pan-IIT, and that's how it got rolling, and we had a tremendously successful event in the Silicon Valley, and ever since that we have marched forward with the organization coming together, lots and lots of people joining and networking and so on, and then we've had several conferences and lots of initiatives taken by Pan-IIT to both establish its brand as well as to really have an impact on each other, the alumni first, and then also on the nation.
When we talk about IIT alumni, like I said, great potential, great talent, they come and achieve, laurels not only here but around the world. But we mostly focus on technology and entrepreneurship. I want to ask you, because since you have led the great organization, McKinsey, do you see potential still emerging out of India compared to when you came out? And if there is, what would you advise to those who are seeking to follow your footprint?
Well, I think if you look at IIT alumni, they have excelled in many, many different fields. It's not only entrepreneurship, it's academia, it's government, it's business, it's not-for-profit sector and so on. So I guess IITs give you a basic training of how to think well, how to problem solve, how to analyze, how to bring together different facts so that kind of fundamental training can be useful for you in any field.
You also advise government in India, and not just now but even before, there are still gaps. And when you look around the world and you see India emerging and you want it to tread very carefully, what are the couple of things that you think India should take care of before they jump and try to compete with the G20 or the G7?
I think India has a very special place in the world, being the largest free market democracy. It has a long tradition of entrepreneurship, free market, and in a way India's success has been in spite of its bureaucracy and politics probably, rather than for it, although I am a great admirer of the current Prime Minister and the liberalization process he started. But, you know, at the same time, I think India in today's world is a wonderful example of what a democracy can do. It's a peace-loving nation. It has a very high moral authority in the world. So, you know, you combine that with rising power, in a sense of economic power and political power, and India clearly is one of the leading nations of the world and should find its rightful place and should act that way.
That leads me to my next question, which is, having talked, you know, so much about India and focus on India and the emerging India, you took an initiative which is now a great organization, among the top 50, I think, in the world, of business schools, the Indian School of Business. I wanted your involvement and why you thought there should be a good school of world repute.
Well, I mean, you know, I think India needs everything, right? So about 10 years ago, I was thinking, what could I give back? And McKinsey & Company is one of the largest recruiter of business school talent, and perhaps the largest, actually. So I knew a lot about business schools, and I thought it would be a good idea to really create a world-class business school, but with a different twist, something that would be started by business and invite academia to follow. So we got together a group of business leaders in India who agreed to invest to create this business school. We then invited Wharton and Kellogg to join us as academic partners. And we built a wonderful school. And, you know, it's a remarkable journey because after the first 5 years, when we were eligible for global rankings, we were ranked number 20, which is the first time a new school has ranked in the top 20. We are now ranked number 15. We are the 5th largest school in the world, graduating 600 MBAs a year. The average GMAT score of the entering class is 720, which is the highest in the world. And it has 40 permanent faculty and 110 visiting faculty and a wonderful campus.
Finally, I want to ask you personally, what do you think motivated you? I know it's difficult to look back to all those years. Were there a couple of factors that I think were instrumental in making who Rajat Gupta is today?
In some ways, in this day and age, perhaps an unusual career, because I spent more than 35 years with one organization. I never worked with any place else other than McKinsey & Company. Fundamental advice to people would be that one should think about how to become a better professional at whatever you're doing, rather than worry too much about careers. Careers automatically follow if you invest to become a better professional and a better human being. So my feeling would be, if you do that, you will perhaps continue to be successful, and you will continue to enjoy what you're doing. And I still run to work every day.
It's been a very busy schedule for you, Rajat, and I appreciate the value of commitment. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.